Hi, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Today, we're going to talk about percentages. Last week, we introduced percentages, and it followed our Unit 2, where we had talked about part to whole, and we used tape diagrams to talk about part to whole, whole being W-H-O-L-E. And so percentages, we look at this similarly as ratios, where we have a part of what would be a total amount. And the total amount is typically always 100%. And then we have a part, which actually can be either less than 100%, but sometimes and rarely it's even more than 100%. So I'm going to use some examples just to show you what I mean by that, and we'll continue our learning for percentages. Jada drank 25% of the bottle of water. Jada drank 25% of the bottle of water. What does that mean? Well, what if Jada had 100 milliliters in her bottle? And what she chose to do is to drink a quarter of it. A quarter of it, you can see from this tape diagram and the length of each of these, it's broken down, that the 100% is broken down into 4 equal lengths. And we can think of each of those lengths as a quarter. And it turns out that each of those is 25%. Remember that a quarter in decimal form is 0.25. So we have, when Jada drinks 25% of the bottle of water, she drinks 25 out of 100 milliliters. She drinks 25%, 25 per 100. Now think back to Unit 2. Again, we were talking with unit rates about per 1. But in this case, when we talk about percents, we're talking about per 100. And cent, for example, derives from a Latin word meaning 100, or centum, or centum, the way it was pronounced. So it's per 100. So we want to see how much does she drink. She drinks 25%. In this case, based on my example, she drinks 25 milliliters out of 100, 25 per 100. So to let that sink in a little bit and to give you another example, pretend that Jada drank 300% as much water as what Diego drank. Now, let's just pretend that Jada actually drank 300 milliliters. And let's pretend that Diego drank 100 milliliters. So if Jada drank 300 milliliters to Diego's 100, she drank 3 times as many. So in terms of 100, or the 100 milliliters that Diego drank, she drank 300 milliliters. That's 3 times. And in the case of percentages, that would be 300 milliliters per 100 milliliters that Diego drank. So we can have percentages as we did above here that amount to 25%, for example, which is a quarter of the total or the whole of 100. Or we could even have, as an example, 3 times that amount, or the parts being 300 parts per that whole amount of 100. So this is where percentages can get confusing. Don't worry about that. Just take from this that we can have a part that's 100% or less. We can have a part that's 100% or more. The part is 300% here. The part is 25% here. It's all in relation to, what if I had 100 of whatever it is? So that's the key thing for our learning from last week that you want to carry forward into this coming week. I want to just share with you that we used as an example a double number line. We also used coins for an example. So if we had 100 coins, we would say that that represents 100%, because it's per 100. There are 100 cents per 100 cents, or per dollar, for example. 50% would be as if we had 50 cents, or 50 out of the 100 that represents 100%. So we can use double number lines to represent if we have more than that 100 or if we have less than that 100.